It doesn't begin with laziness. It begins with a whisper, a gentle nudge convincing you that tomorrow is a better day to begin. Procrastination isn't a defect of discipline. It's the unconscious preservation of your fragile sense of self. You delay not because you're careless, but because you care so deeply. You'd rather rot in the safety of later than risk confronting your own inadequacy today. Each task becomes a mirror, threatening to reflect back the truth you refuse to meet. That maybe you're not as gifted as they thought. That maybe the vision in your mind won't survive contact with reality. So you linger in the purgatory of intention. You make to-do lists. You organize your workspace. You light the candle. You wait for the perfect mood, for clarity, for confidence, as if inspiration is a divine favor granted only to the worthy. But here is the venomous secret. Your delays feel like strategy. Your hesitation masquerades as thoughtfulness. Yet time is not pausing with you. It is moving on, without mercy. And as you wait for the perfect moment, you quietly mourn every version of you that could have existed if you had just begun. Procrastination is not just avoidance. It is self-betrayal performed in slow motion. It's the artful sabotage of your own potential. Each delay is a seed of regret planted in the fertile soil of fear. What you fear is not the work, it's the exposure, the nakedness of trying, of caring, of showing your soul and being met with silence. But here's the harsh redemption. Every masterpiece was once a mess. Every finished thing once looked like failure in progress. You will not think your way into readiness. You will only act your way into clarity. Begin. Begin again. Begin afraid. Begin uncertain, but begin. Because the greatest tragedy isn't falling short. It's never stepping onto the path, never knowing who you could have been had you faced the fear and started walking. Isn't it strange how the very things you run to for comfort are the ones quietly pulling you away from your true self? You flee into distraction. You consume noise that has nothing to do with you. You reach for easy comfort, and in return, you are sold false meaning. You try to fill the present moment with anything but yourself, because to fill it with yourself takes courage. It takes strength. Distraction seduces you. It feels like connection. It feels like purpose, but it is none of those things. It is sedation, a soft lullaby for the lost, a quiet burial of the soul. Distraction wears the mask of life, but it leads only to forgetting. It does not nourish you, it numbs you, and what you feed in your numbness is not yourself, but a shadow, a smaller, quieter version of who you truly are, starved of light. We call this the not self, a false identity built from distraction, shaped by noise, fed by comfort. Every click, every escape, every delay strengthened the distance between you and your authentic self. You are not made for distraction. You are crafted to protect the invisible nature of man, the unseen world within you. And now you wonder why you can't find joy, why purpose slips through your fingers. You fed yourself with noise, fragments of other people's lives, shallow pleasures dressed up as passions. You were seduced by the comfort of distraction, and now you wonder why you can't feel your own soul. Distraction sold you a false life, and in chasing it, you forgot yourself. You forgot who you are beneath the layers, beneath the noise, the loss of inner belonging. Nothing can produce that which it does not have in itself. Feed on falsehood, and you will grow only confusion. You do not need more to do. You need less. You need silence, space, remembrance. You don't need to find yourself. You need to stop feeding what you are not, because distraction is still hungry. It will devour every true part of you if you let it. Stop mistaking comfort for clarity. Stop calling sedation peace if you cannot feel yourself anymore. It is not because you are broken. It is because you are buried. So make room, clear the noise, starve the not-self, and let the true self rise again. It is not becoming. It is a return to your original state. Before you were conditioned, before fear took root, before you were told who to be. Fill yourself, with real interests, real meaning, real light. Separate your soul from all that it is not, and let your life serve what is real, not what is false. Because beneath the distraction, beneath the comfort that cost you your soul, the presence of your own soul, your true self, remains untouched, and only you can unveil it. You wake each morning with a weight on your chest. In the silent moment before the day's noise begins, you feel it, a whisper, an ache, a knowing. It's the voice of your untapped potential, the faint call of something greater within you. Do you hear it? It's asking, begging, almost pleading. Don't settle. Yet as the sun climbs, that whisper often fades beneath the routine. You dress in the armor of mediocrity, pretending it fits. You go through motions, meeting expectations set not by your heart, but by the world around you. Numbly scrolling through endless feeds, chasing trivial highs from social media and video games, you escape the nagging sense that something is missing. Each click, each pointless distraction is a drug, a comfortable poison that keeps you sedated from the truth. And the truth is this: you've been living below your potential, accepting crumbs of comfort instead of seeking your feast. You say yes when your soul screams no. You fill your time with obligations born of guilt and habit. With every uneasy yes to appease others, you carve a small betrayal into your spirit. You attend gatherings you have no heart for, take on duties you have no energy for, all because you fear the sting of disappointing others. Every time you betray yourself like this, your self-respect withers. You wear a mask of fine contentment, but behind it lies quiet desperation. There is a hollow space within you where your authentic self should shine. Instead, it's filled with the clutter of other people's expectations and the white noise of a distracted life. You avoid the mirror because deep down, you know the life you're living is not truly your own. Mediocrity has become your refuge, and it's slowly poisoning your spirit. Look around at the life you've built, comfortable, familiar, and unchallenged. The risk of it all is that it asks nothing more of you. And asking nothing, it drains everything. This is the problem, not an external enemy, but the quiet lullaby of complacency that lulls you into half-living. You are asleep, eyes open, walking through a life that demands nothing extraordinary, and so gives nothing extraordinary in return. But somewhere in the depths of night, when you cannot sleep, that whisper returns. Is this it? It asks. Is this the life you dreamed of? The question lingers like smoke in the darkness. You toss and turn, trying to quiet that voice, but it only grows louder in the silence. Is this all I am meant to be? Each day you bury that question beneath chores, errands, mindless videos, superficial conversations. But you know you can only run for so long. The whisper grows impatient. What was once a gentle tap on your heart becomes an uncomfortable pressure in your gut, a sense of unlived life pressing against your rib cage, demanding to be let out. And so the tension builds. You stand at a threshold, sensing that beyond the door of your comfortable life lies something vast, something unknown. It beckons, but crossing into it would shatter the illusion of safety you've clung to. It would demand change, frightening, magnificent change. Just as metal must melt in fierce heat to be reshaped, your life as you know it must face the fire of transformation. The alchemists of old spoke of calcination, the burning away of impurities. In the crucible of change, your old ways, your distractions, your appeasements, your fears would be turned to ash. And that prospect terrifies you. Who would you be without these comforts, these masks? The unknown of it all is the first real fear you've felt in a long time. Yet there is a greater danger in not changing. To live a life of mediocrity, to never answer that whisper, is to let your soul slowly wither. Picture yourself decades from now, looking back. The thought haunts you. All the chances untaken, the creative fires never lit, the dreams quietly abandoned because you clung to the easy path. This is the specter that should truly scare you. A life half-lived, a destiny unrealized. If you continue to ignore that call, a part of you will die before your body does. Mediocrity is a slow death. It doesn't kill you outright. It just numbs you day by day, until one morning you wake with a stranger's eyes. You gaze in the mirror and no longer recognize the person staring back. The spark is gone. The fire has burned out, not with a bang, but with a fizzle. And all that remains is the ghost of what could have been. Society won't save you from this fate. In fact, it encourages it. The world wants you comfortable. It sells you ease and entertainment, so you never dare to question, never dare to strive. A complacent person is easily controlled, easily profited from. There are algorithms designed to keep you hooked, to keep you consuming and conforming. They will feed you everything to keep you from hearing your own soul. They will wrap you in the velvet coffin of convenience while your aspirations suffocate within. Every time you shy away from discomfort, every time you choose what's easy over what's meaningful, you strengthen the chains that bind you. These chains are invisible, silken threads at first. A few minutes on your phone, a polite yes when you wanted to say no. But thread by thread, they weave into ropes, into shackles. One day you find you can't move freely. You're dancing to someone else's tune, a marionette held by obligations and mindless habits. This is the danger of not choosing your own path. If you do not claim your life, someone else will. If you do not build your dreams, someone will hire you to build theirs. If you do not carve your own future, you become a ghost in the machinery of the world, present but not truly alive. But listen, even as you feel the weight of these truths, something else stirs within you, a spark. It's faint, but it's there. A tiny glowing ember buried under the ash of all those wasted hours and compromised days. In the darkest part of the night, that ember refuses to die. In fact, the darkness around it only makes it glow brighter by contrast. That spark is your inner fire, your undying potential. It's the piece of you that never forgot that you were meant for more. No matter how much you try to smother it with distractions or drown it in excuses, it remains, waiting patiently. It is the divine seed, the prima materia of your personal alchemy, the raw material from which a new you can be born. And now, my friend, it's time to feed that flame, to answer the call, to step into the crucible and transform. Yes, it will burn. Yes, it will shatter the comfortable illusions. But what is destroyed in that fire is nothing worth keeping. Fear, laziness, false appeasements, all the lead of your life that weighs you down. What emerges on the other side of the flame is lighter, purer, stronger. The lead turns to gold. Think of the phoenix, how it builds its own pyre and ignites. It doesn't fear the flames because it knows this truth. To be reborn, first you must burn. This is your phoenix moment. The life you've known must become ashes, so that from those ashes your truest self can rise. So, choose solitude. At least for a while, embrace being alone with yourself. Be like the hermit who ventures into the wilderness, or the monk retreating to a mountain cave. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's a grand meeting with the self. It's in the quiet that you finally encounter the real you, the one behind all those masks and layers. In that sacred aloneness, the whisper becomes a voice, clear and strong, guiding you forward. Rise before the sun and greet the fragile dawn. In the early morning hush, when the world is still asleep, you'll find a pocket of peace that belongs entirely to you. There is magic in the pre-dawn hour. The air itself holds a stillness, a possibility. Sit with it. Feel the subtle energy before daybreak, the transition from night to light. This is when your mind is freshest, untainted by the day's noise, ready to listen and to create. In this solitude of morning, begin your inner work. Light a candle or simply bask in the glow of dawn. Breathe deeply, as if inhaling the crisp potential of a new day. Now turn inward, journal your thoughts. Let them flow onto the page, uncensored. This isn't a report for others. It's a dialogue with your soul. Write down your fears, your desires, the questions that keep you up at night. Write what your inner voice speaks in the silence. In those pages, you will start to see patterns, truths, guiding stars shining through the fog of your mind. Read books that challenge you. Biographies of those who walked their own path. Writings of sages and seers. When you read profound words in the morning quiet, it's as if you're conversing with great minds across time. Their thoughts light new flames in your mind, showing you what is possible, reminding you that you are not alone on this journey. And in the stillness, reflect. Whether through meditation or simple, quiet contemplation, allow yourself to just be. Listen to the birds starting their day. or the sound of your own breath. In this introspective work, you're not idling. You're allowing the sediment of your thoughts to settle so the waters of your mind run clear. Ideas will emerge in that clarity. Insights will dawn on you, like the morning light itself. As you do this, day after day, you'll notice something profound. The person you meet each morning in that silence is more real than the one who races through the day chasing errands and accolades. You will start to recognize yourself, not the self that others demand, but your true face, the one that gazes back at you with steady eyes in the dawn mirror. From this growing self-awareness comes a new strength. You will feel it in small things first, a clearer intuition, a firmer stance, a voice that doesn't tremble when you speak your truth. You'll find yourself saying no more often, and surprisingly, it will feel good. You'll say no to invitations that don't stir your heart, no to commitments that don't serve your goals, no to the toxic obligations that used to trap you in cycles of guilt. Each no will be a brick laid at the foundation of your authenticity, shaping the temple of a life you choose. And what do you give space to with all these no's? The yes that truly matter. By guarding your time and energy, you open room for meaningful yes. The project that excites you, the workout that invigorates you, the quiet evening that rejuvenates you, the pursuit that calls to your spirit. Saying no more than yes doesn't make you selfish. It makes you focused. It reserves your sacred fire for the things that genuinely feed it. As you align your days with your true desires, something beautiful happens. Self-respect blooms. It's like a rare flower that only opens under specific conditions. The sunlight of authenticity and the water of consistent action. When you wake early and keep the promises you whispered to yourself in the quiet hours, you earn a private victory. When you follow through on your plans, be it to exercise, to create, to learn, you send a signal to your own subconscious. I am worth it. My goals matter. And that builds trust within. You begin to respect the person you are because you see that person taking real, tangible steps toward what they value. Self-respect cannot be given. It must be earned. Earned by you, for you. Each day that you act in alignment with your inner voice, you add a drop of gold to the crucible of your becoming. Little by little, the leaden self-doubt melts away, replaced by a growing nugget of confidence, pure and gleaming. Purpose, once a mystery, begins to show itself not as a sudden epiphany, but as a gradually forming horizon in the distance. You realize now, purpose is discovered through action. You couldn't think your way into your mission while tangled in doubt and diversion. But as you took steps, however small, on the path that felt right, you started to feel the pull of something real. Just as a great voyage is navigated by constant adjustment of the sails, your purpose guides you through the feedback of your own efforts. Try, and doors open or close. Move, and the path appears under your feet. You learned more by doing in 1 month than by introspecting in 1 year. Action crystallizes the vague longings of the heart into reality. By doing, you give form to your dreams. You test ideas in the fires of experience and forge wisdom from the results. Failures and missteps become alchemical ingredients too. The sulfur and salt that, mixed with the mercury of your mind, create new insights. Through action, you refine what truly resonates with you and discard what doesn't. clarity emerges from engagement, not from the sidelines. Distractions that once seduced you now seem like cheap tricks. Why? Because you've tasted something far more nourishing. Progress, the subtle joy of a morning spent creating, the pride after finishing a difficult book or a long journal entry, the peace following meditation. These become your new gold. The fleeting buzz of a video game level up or another hour down the social media rabbit hole cannot compare to the steady flame of real growth you now feel. Every day, as you detach from noise and center on your journey, you are performing inner alchemy. You are turning the raw stuff of your life into something rare. The universe's desire is evolution, and by consciously evolving, you align with that cosmic force. Think of it. For billions of years, the universe has been grown from simple to complex, from chaos to cosmos, from dust to stars, to living beings capable of thought. That force of evolution thrums in your very blood. It urges you to become, to unfold your potential like a flower stretching toward the sun. And how does a flower grow? In stillness, in sunlight and silence. Your fullest self, like a flower or like a star being born in the quiet of space, emerges only in silence. The noise was drowning your growth. Now the silence nourishes it. In this silence, you can finally hear the guidance of something greater. Call it the universe, call it God, call it your higher self. It doesn't matter what name. It's the same deep current that pushes life onward. And in your quiet moments, you feel it pushing you onward, whispering that you are not done yet, that you are far from done. You come to see that your life itself is an alchemical laboratory. Each day is an experiment, each challenge a chance to mix elements within you and see what transmutation occurs. Your solitude, your discipline, your actions, these are your fire. Your thoughts, your passions, your raw talents, these are your prima materia, the base metal waiting to be elevated. With patience and persistence, you work at it, like the old alchemists bent over their flasks and flames. The transformation is slow, almost imperceptible at times. But one day you catch a glimpse of your reflection, perhaps in the journal entries from months ago, or in the ease with which you now face a problem that used to paralyze you. And you realize, I am not who I was. The leaden dullness has given way to a golden glow. Understand, this great work of yours is never truly finished. Alchemists spoke of the magnum opus, the great work of turning lead to gold, as a lifelong pursuit. So too is the pursuit of becoming your truest self. There's always more to refine, more to discover. This might sound daunting, but it's actually liberating. It means that every day is a new opportunity to learn, to grow, to inch closer to the horizon of your potential. It means that even mistakes are not the end, but part of the process. You are not striving for a final state of perfection that once reached ends the story. No, you are on a path, a living path that winds ever upward, and every step, every misstep, every victory and setback is part of the grand tapestry of your becoming. The Philosopher's Stone, in one interpretation, was said to be the self, perfected and whole. Each time you choose authenticity over approval, each dawn you claim for self-mastery, each boundary you set with a clear heart, you are polishing that stone. You are bringing forth the brilliance that was always hidden inside. Feel the change taking root inside you. That timid spark is now a flame, steady and bright. Where once you doubted your worth, now you sense a quiet dignity forming. You walk through your days differently, head higher, eyes clearer. It's not arrogance, it's the peace of someone who finally knows they are on their path. You no longer seek validation like a beggar at the doors of the world. You carry your own approval within. It lights your way like a lantern in the night. You realize that solitude was never emptiness. It was fullness, a direct line to the wellspring of strength inside you. Now, even in company, that inner solitude stays with you, a core of stability amid life's chaos. You can face the world each day because you have a retreat every morning and night in the sanctuary of your soul. Of course, challenges remain. This is no fairy tale. There will be days when you slip, when the old habits creep in, when you hit snooze on the alarm and skip the journal, when a cutting comment or a setback makes you want to crawl back to the old easy life. But now you know too much. You've seen what you are capable of when you truly show up for yourself, and that knowledge will call you back. The flame you've kindled might flicker on a hard day, but it will not go out, because you won't let it. You've tasted the difference between living half asleep and walking wide awake in your purpose, and you cannot unknow that truth. It will haunt you in the best way until you return to the path. And so you return again and again, stronger each time for the stumble. This is the dance of transformation. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but always moving to the music of your deepest calling. Each cycle of this dance lifts you higher than the last, like a spiral staircase climbing. No more drifting, no more half measures, no more numbing yourself to the pain of not living fully. Let that pain sharpen into purpose. Let it drive you to finally say, enough. I am ready. Ready to break the mold of who you were, to forge the new self in the fires of will and solitude and action. Ask yourself now, in the privacy of your own mind, what am I destined for if I give it my all? Not what does the world expect of me, not what would make others comfortable. What do I desire deeply? What life feels aligned with the core of who I am? The answers do not come in a shout. They come in a whisper in those quiet mornings, in the gentle tug at your attention when you read or write or try something new that just feels right. Follow those whispers. They are the compass of your intuition pointing toward your North Star. There will be sacrifices to become who you were meant to be. You will have to let go of who you were. You will lose some sleep to dawns and some comfort to discipline. You will disappoint people when you stop living on their terms. You will walk alone at times, forging a path in darkness lit only by your own heart's fire. But know this, those who truly love you will see you growing and understand. And those who don't, their opinion was never worth the price of your freedom. Freedom, that's what this is about. The freedom to be fully yourself, to stand unabashed in your truth, whether the world approves or not. To wake up and know that today you will live by your own light, not under the shadow of someone else's expectations. This freedom is what your soul has been crying for, what that whisper has been urging you toward. Feel the resistance within that old fear, and do it anyway. That is the feeling of growth, the exact sensation of chains breaking. It might feel like loss or anxiety at first, but in time you will recognize it as freedom. The caterpillar dissolves to become the butterfly. In that cocoon, it surely feels like death, but it is in fact new life forming. Trust that process within yourself. Look inward at that ember glowing now in your chest, the one we spoke of. It's brighter than before, isn't it? Warm, alive. It's your potential, your courage, your hunger for more than the ordinary. Protect it, nourish it, and most importantly, use it to ignite the life that you are capable of living. The path beckons, stretching out into the unknown. The road will wind and rise, and at times you will walk it alone under the cold stars. But there, in the solitude, you'll find not loneliness, but a fierce companionship with the universe itself. Every step forward you take, no matter how small, the cosmos celebrates. For it knows that one of its own is evolving. So I leave you now, not with a conclusion, but with an invitation, a challenge. Tonight, when the world is quiet, listen for that whisper. Tomorrow at dawn, act on it. And the next day, and the next, keep the promise to your highest self. Do this, and one day you will look around in wonder at the life you've created, forged in the fires of intention, born from the alchemy of solitude. The journey is yours to walk. The peak potential of your life is yours to unlock. The question remains, burning in the air long after these words fade. Will you step into the fire and finally reclaim yourself? In your palm dwells a principality. You don't remember what you saw. Time disappeared, your energy drained, and inside, nothing. Just emptiness where your soul used to be. A demon of the digital realm, the work of the devil. It devours the divine spark that makes you human. And still you reach for it, again and again. Is it still a tool, or has it become a master? 8 sacred hours daily, the soul is offered upon electromagnetic altars. 2,000 touches, ritualistic, feeding the beast fragments of divine attention like burnt offerings to a false god. This principality understands fallen human nature better than humans understand themselves. When the ego hungers for validation, it provides digital idolatry. When the shadow craves voyeurism, it offers infinite windows into strangers' souls. When the anima seeks connection, it delivers synthetic intimacy. 1/3 of mortal existence spent in the belly of this beast. 1/3 of the soul's journey consumed by a patient predator that understands the psychology of spiritual hunger. The demon does not force its way in. You invite it. Your mind becomes its temple. Your thoughts become its prayers. The ancient brain that once kept you alive now keeps you trapped. Fear becomes excitement. Desire becomes addiction. What once brought you joy, real beauty, real connection, real meaning, now bores you. Only the artificial satisfies. Only the synthetic thrills. Your dreams fill with strangers' faces. Your desires mirror strangers' wants. Your emotions echo strangers' pain. You can no longer tell what thoughts are yours and what thoughts have been planted. You become many people online. None of them real. All of them craving what they'll never find. Observe the crucifixion of consciousness upon the cross of endless stimulation. Dopamine, the sacred chemical of joy and wonder, once flowed when you found love, beauty, truth. Now it's sold back to you in digital doses that create spiritual addiction. The prefrontal cortex, where you plan, choose, dream of tomorrow, withers under constant digital noise. Only the animal brain remains, seeking the next hit. Your brain's holy ability to change and grow gets hijacked. New pathways carved toward endless scrolling, away from deep thought. The demon creates tolerance like any drug dealer. What once satisfied now merely stimulates. What once amazed now only distracts. What once fulfilled now simply fills time. The ultimate feast is not time, attention, or even thoughts. The demon devours presence itself. Your real life replaced by digital performance. Your journey to become yourself hijacked by fake online selves. The present moment dissolved into endless scroll. When you photograph the sacred moment, you exile yourself from the eternal now. When you broadcast experience, you choose representation over reality. When you document existence, you become absent from being itself. The demon feeds on presence, leaving only absence disguised as connection. Natural anxiety becomes digital anxiety. Existential nausea becomes scroll fatigue. Divine restlessness redirected toward algorithmic content. The soul's natural longing for the infinite captured and commodified by finite feeds. Yet the ancient cure remains. Digital fasting, technological Sabbath, electronic exorcism. 3 days where the demon cannot reach the soul. Feel the withdrawal symptoms of digital detox, anxiety, phantom vibrations, compulsive reaching for the absent device. These are signs of spiritual healing. Sit with the discomfort as consciousness remembers what the ancients called divine restlessness, what mystics knew as sacred emptiness, what the contemplatives recognized as the dark night preceding illumination. Boredom is not emptiness. Silence is not absence. Solitude is not isolation. These are the sacred spaces where authentic self emerges, where divine encounter becomes possible, where the soul remembers its true nature. The principality in your palm whispers even now, promising connection while delivering separation, offering meaning while providing meaninglessness, guaranteeing life while feeding on spiritual death. But you have the power to choose. Put down the device. Walk away from its electromagnetic hunger. You must strive to become more of yourself. Only then can you become filled with the divine. Only then do you move closer to God. Remember, everything that separates you from yourself is the work of the devil. Fill yourself with yourself. The demon will call with notifications of false urgency, promises of digital salvation, threats of social disconnection. Do not answer. Your soul's salvation depends on this choice. Choose yourself. Choose the divine image within. Welcome, seeker. You're here because something stirs within you. A hunger, a whisper, a fire. You've set your sights on a goal, a dream, a summit that calls your name. And I'm here to tell you this. No one, no force, no shadow, no storm can stand in your way once you've stepped through the right door. No one, that is, except you. Yes, you heard me. The only enemy you'll ever face stares back from the mirror. So let's talk deeply, truly, about what holds you back and what sets you free. There's a weight you carry, isn't there? A quiet tremor in your chest. It's not the world outside. It's the lack within. Lack of faith. Lack of confidence. Two sides of the same rusted coin. When you doubt yourself, nothing you touch turns to gold. Every step feels heavier. Every task looms larger. You've felt it. The more you need to succeed, the more you stumble. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. Why? Because you've built a cage of your own making. Self-belief crumbling. Challenges swelling in your mind. Like mountains too steep to climb. Picture this. You set a goal. Something vast. Something vital. You tie it to your worth, your identity. Suddenly it's not just a goal. It's a judge, a gavel, a noose. That's outer importance. It turns desire into torment, a gnawing ache that exhausts you. Then there's inner importance, the voice that whispers, you're not enough, that you'll never be enough. Together they breed insecurity, a vicious spiral. The more you want it, the more you fear you can't have it. The more you try to control it, yourself, the outcome, the script, the tighter the knots in your soul. Tension rises, panic creeps in, and soon you're drowning in a sea of your own doubt. But what if I told you you're fighting the wrong war? You can't wrestle insecurity into submission. You can't mask it with bravado. It seeps through the cracks, and everyone sees it anyway. And forcing confidence, that's a fool's game. It's not a muscle to flex or a skill to hone. You don't build confidence like some fragile tower. No. Confidence isn't born from struggle. It's released. It's energy, pure and simple. It's either there or it's not. Here's the paradox, the deep truth that cuts through the noise. To find confidence, you must stop chasing it. Let go. Yes, let go. Stop clawing at it. Stop scripting every step. Stop strangling the flow with your need to control. Where belief lives, doubt lingers like a shadow. But when you release the grip, something shifts. The energy of intention, raw, unshackled, moves from chaos to creation. It's not about fighting harder. It's about flowing wiser. Imagine this instead. You think of your goal, not as a distant peak, but as a truth already written. You feel it, taste it, know it in your bones. You paddle with the current, not against it, steering with the oar of pure intent. That's coordination. Not confidence, not control, but harmony. Doubt fades when the mind meets reality. Fear of the unknown melts into the quiet strength of knowing who you are. And insecurity, it transforms, not into some fleeting courage, but into unshakable knowledge. The secret is simple, yet it demands everything. Reduce the importance. Stop making your goal a god to worship, or a beast to slay. Let go of the script. Yours, mine, the world's. When you do, the pieces fall into place not by force, but by design. The tension lifts, the spiral breaks, and what's left is you. Steady, whole, unstoppable. So here's your answer. You don't need to become confident. You don't need to prove anything to yourself or anyone else. You need only to release what's already there, buried beneath the noise. Let go of the weight, the worry, the war within. Step through your door, paddle with the flow, and watch the world bend to meet you. Now, go. The path is yours. Lust. Its grip is fierce, its touch intoxicating, but it leaves behind only ashes. It sings a sweet song, one that wraps around your soul, a melody of temptation, seductive, alluring. But when the music fades, silence swallows you whole. It is the serpent's whisper, a fleeting flame that burns the soul, promising warmth, but delivering only cold. Lust masquerades as strength, convincing you that surrender is power, that indulgence is freedom. But in truth, it is the shackle that holds you to the dirt, the weight that keeps you from the sky. It feasts on your will, devours your spirit, turns desire into desperation, pleasure into pain. It clouds your mind, blurs your vision, leaves you crawling through the dust, clawing at something that dissolves on contact, a mirage that fades when grasped. Lust doesn't care about your soul. It doesn't seek to nurture or uplift. It pulls you down into the depths, where shame festers and guilt lingers. You wake up hollow, a void where purpose once thrived. Lust drains your essence, leaving a fragile shell, trembling in the dark. And yet, there's a whisper of hope, a flicker of light, faint but resilient, reminding you that you are more than this craving, more than this fleeting indulgence. You are crafted for greater things, made to rise, to reach, to become. Do not let lust dim your fire. You are stronger than this. Why are you striving for happiness? You wake up anxious, don't you? Comparing your struggles to everyone else's victories, addicted to progress, measuring your worth by what you have. You don't feel enough, do you? You're not happy with yourself as you are. What are you striving for? You've built a prison of conditions. Only when I reach this goal, only when I become that person, only then will I be happy. You think peace must be earned through struggle, but this endless hunger, it's just your ego, always wanting more, never satisfied. The very pursuit is your prison. Your ego will never have enough, always more, always desiring something. Your endless craving is not hunger, it is lack of faith. When your mind stops chasing and begins to observe, peace reveals itself not as something you earn, but as something you are. You are not born to resist life's rhythm. Change is the law of your soul's growth. Only in harmony with that law does joy become lasting, build, grow, create. But not to become someone worthy. Do it because you already are someone magnificent, and your soul came here to express what it has always been. You don't have to seek something you already have. Stop feeding your ego with all the noise from the outside world. Your ego breeds anxiety, comparison, addiction to progress, never feeling enough. You already are all these things you're chasing. Stop chasing what you already have. You value your wounds because you believe they give you depth and meaning. You develop a strange pride in the very things that broke you, as if suffering itself is what makes you worthy. You mistake your wounds for your worth, not because you enjoy being broken, but because you need your pain to matter, to make you special. You'd rather dwell in the nobility of damage than risk the terror of healing, only to awaken in a quieter world, where your pain no longer defines you, and the self you once clung to no longer exists. The wounds you wear aren't just memories, they're the architecture of your identity, the framework you've built to explain why love left, why opportunity hesitates, why happiness feels like trespassing. You've decorated your prison with such care, hanging your traumas like tapestries, reciting your rejections like poetry. You've made pain not just a visitor, but the most loyal companion in the empty cathedral of your becoming. But here is the venomous truth. Your attachment to what hurt you isn't wisdom. It's terror disguised as insight. Your wounds whisper that they keep you safe, that they are the evidence of your journey. But they never mention how they've become the boundaries of where your journey can go. You cherish your scars for the story they tell, never questioning if they're telling the only story possible, never wondering what chapters remain unwritten, while you stay loyal to what broke you. There's an exquisite difference between honoring where you've been and building an altar there, refusing to leave. Listen closely to what your wounds have been trying to tell you all along. We were never meant to be destinations. We were only meant to be doorways. The universe didn't break you to define you. It broke you to expand you. Your worth was written in starlight long before your first scar. It pulses beneath your skin, untouched by rejection, unmoved by failure, waiting for recognition. You will not heal your way into worthiness. You will only realize that worthiness was the constant companion that walked with you through fire. You are not the sum of your suffering. You are the space suffering moved through, the consciousness that witnessed it all and remained. Today, touch something in your life that pain didn't give you. That belongs to you regardless of your wounds. Your scars were meant to be bridges, not walls, passages to growth, not prisons of identity. You were always more than what broke you. There's been so much sun in days past and days to come. Who does not love the endless sunshine until it vanishes when least expected? And in that quiet anxiety, I felt truly alive. Strange how the heaviness becomes lighter when light abandons us. Another self emerges, more real, more vital. In perfect days, I lie untouched by my troubles, knowing what matters, yet choosing inaction. The seduction of sunny days, to push the deeper self down until its urgent whispers fade beneath the comfort of light. I approve moments filled with shallow habits, consuming waiting, knowing I am not who I wish to be. Then darkness falls without warning, the sacred reversal. The sun stops shining on me, but I begin to shine on the sun. Suddenly my choices gain weight, my situation charged with meaning. In good times, I delay what needs doing. In bad times, I face what must be faced. The pace quickens, not from stress, but from purpose in each moment. I value time differently now. A quiet fear remains, not of darkness, but of not living as my authentic self. For now I steer my own days. I am the one giving meaning. This shift reveals my true self, as if sunshine was a veil, and only in its absence could I truly see. Will you discover that only when the sun vanishes can you begin to shine? Have I forgotten who I am, or have I only now remembered? You have become a prisoner of worrying, not suddenly, but slowly. The weight building in your chest, the storm gathering in your mind as you lie awake. In this industrial age, your spirit bears pressures your ancestors never had to face. The constant noise, the endless demands, the relentless pace, they all feed your anxiety, stealing your peace. This is not the way of life. Society whispers its deception, that your constant worry makes you careful, makes you good, makes you worthy. And you believe this lie until it becomes the chains around your wrists. Your thoughtful mind should plant seeds and trust in seasons. But your worried mind digs them up daily, fingers searching the soil for proof of growth. You suffer the same disaster many times in your imagination, watching it unfold like a tragedy you're forced to witness again and again. The worrier not only suffers the same disaster many times, but undermines his health and annoys all others with whom he comes into contact. There are many things in this world that require thoughtful consideration, but there is really nothing for you to fear but fear itself. Your worry is not protection. It is a stone you carry, convinced of its purpose while it only wears down your shoulders, hollows your spine. You fight battles in empty rooms against enemies made of smoke and shadow. Why do you welcome these storms into the sacred harbor of your mind? No walls can truly protect you from yourself. You are both the tempest and the shore. Let go of this worry. It fills you with stress, makes you chase phantoms across barren fields, breeds anger that burns in your blood, fear that freezes your bones. It steals today's joy to pay for tomorrow's problems. A debt that never comes due. The stars don't labor to shine. Their light simply pours forth. Let the false importance fall away like autumn leaves. When worry dissolves, life opens before you. Not because the world has changed, but because your eyes have. Nothing more is needed. Why do so many men live, but leave nothing behind? He wakes, he moves, he breathes, but he does not live. He is present, but not here. He speaks, but says nothing. He laughs, but feels nothing. He runs, but arrives nowhere. A child is thoughtless, and we call it innocence. But a man who remains so, we call him hollow. He fears reflection. He avoids silence. He wears distraction like armor, but inside, he is empty. He cannot build, because he has no foundation. He cannot lead, because he cannot follow the voice within. He cannot love deeply, because he has never faced himself. But stillness is not the enemy. It is the beginning, the quiet flame where thoughtfulness is born. And thoughtfulness, it hurts, it strips, it burns away the illusion. But from that fire a man is shaped, not to survive, but to create. He who dares to think begins to live. He who faces himself begins to rise. To think deeply is to drink from the well of life, and only the brave will ever taste its waters. To live the life you desire, never focus on what you want to experience outside of yourself. It isn't currently in your control to form physical reality. Only the Almighty has the power to do that. The only thing you can control is yourself, your inner state of being, your mind. That's why it is of utter importance for every individual to gain an understanding of who they really are, on a mental and on a soul level, attaining the knowingness that you are the infinite spark of light, the all-observing awareness behind this grand play of life, is the very first step to gain the bird's-eye perspective on what is truly going on. From there, you want to gain a proper understanding of who you are on a mental level, realizing why you, as an individual, think like you think, feel like you feel, act like you act. Seeing through your reactive programming without identifying with it is the key. Because having realized you aren't your programming and you are able to actually form and shape it as you wish, you step into your true powers again. You are now in creator mode. You still won't be able to change your outer experience of reality on command, but it will change proportionally to the work you are doing within yourself. Perception is everything, and there is only one thing you need to do to gain control over how you perceive this world. Mastering your mind. The ego mind can't survive alone. It was never designed to. It withers in silence and goes mad in solitude. You think your thoughts belong to you, that the voice in your head is yours alone. But what is a self without someone to be seen by? What is an identity if no one reflects it back? We build ourselves through mirrors, in glances, in touch, in how others respond to our becoming. Alone, the ego stretches too far inward. It loops, it spirals, it forgets what is real. It invents ghosts just to be witnessed. This is why so many collapse in the silence. Not because they are weak, but because they were never taught how to see themselves without a reflection. The ego mind is loud but fragile. It cannot hold its shape without an echo. And perhaps that's why we exist, so that God wouldn't be alone, so he could look into the eyes of another and for a moment remember himself. You, me, all of us. Fragments of a forgotten whole, searching not for answers, but for reflections. Because the ego mind can't survive alone. But the soul was never alone to begin with. Unlike the ego, the soul isn't dependent on the external world. It's timeless, whole, and inherently connected to everything. So even when you feel alone, the soul knows. You are never truly separate. It's a gentle reminder that beneath the ego's fear is something eternal, something already at peace. Overthinking is a silent storm in the mind, a desperate attempt to control the uncontrollable. It whispers that more thinking will bring answers. Yet each new thought leads you further from peace. You wander a labyrinth of thoughts, chasing clarity, finding only confusion. What is the mind so afraid of? The unknown. It spins story after story, hoping to find security in answers. Overthinking fills the void with noise, because silence feels like surrender. But all that noise drowns out the whisper of intuition, the gentle voice of your heart. Without inner training, the mind runs untamed, a wild creature ruling your life. Without balance, the mind becomes a tyrant and your heart falls silent. Yet there is a way out of this turmoil. Sit in the silence you fear, and you will begin to see the mind's chatter for what it is. Meditation is not about forcing the mind into silence. It is about witnessing its noise. As you observe, the wild thoughts begin to settle. Like muddy water, clearing when left undisturbed. With patience and practice, the mind learns to serve you rather than rule you. In that calm, your heart's wisdom can finally be heard. You discover the answers you seek are not in endless thought. They arise when you trust the silence, when you allow yourself to simply be. True control comes not from conquering every thought, but from surrendering to the present. When mind and heart reunite, overthinking fades away. In the space beyond thoughts, you rediscover your peace, the freedom of letting go. It's 3 a.m. The world is silent, but your mind is deafening. Everything is still, except the storm inside your head. Even your heartbeat echoes in the quiet, a lonely drum in the darkness. You feel lost, adrift on a moonless ocean, no North Star to guide you home. You feel broken, like shattered glass across a cold floor, each fragment reflecting pain. You feel empty, a hollow echo in an abandoned home, where even your tears have dried to dust. In the darkness, every ghost of regret awakens. What if? If only. These words haunt you, echoing off the walls of your skull. The ceiling stares back without answer. The night reveals the truths. Day hides. The forced smiles. The quiet cries into your pillow. The weight of all you never say. I know this darkness. I have walked this lonely road at 3 a.m. too. And though I cannot pull you out, I can sit with you here. Right now, across the quiet, my voice reaches to yours. From one sleepless soul to another, a gentle reminder, you are not truly alone. Even in this void, we share the same night. We are two distant stars, each shining in the darkness, together forming a quiet constellation of understanding. The night feels endless, but you and I, we endure it together in this moment, in this silence, a whisper. I see you. And for tonight, that is enough.